Hi, welcome to the channel Walking in My Faith. My name is Lihle. On this channel, I share my experience after submitting 100% of my life over to God. And today I was reading Mark 4, specifically verse 18, where it says, "The seed cast in the weeds represents the ones who hear the kingdom news, but are overwhelmed with worries about all the things they have to do and all the things they want to get. The stress strangles what they heard, and nothing comes of it." And I felt very much like that is me. Definitely, that's definitely me. And I had to kind of pray about it. But as I was sitting in my meditation after reading this, and I felt like looking back at the last 5 years of my life, so many things have happened that I have to be grateful for. And I always try to focus on gratitude because I think it gets you very quickly out of feeling sorry for yourself or feeling like you're missing something or feeling like you're not getting anything, or you know what I mean, like when you're in that state of sort of walking to depression. Being grateful and recognizing the things that you have gives you sort of an opportunity, or at least gives me an opportunity to kind of pause and say, compared to other people, my life is actually so much better. But that again doesn't mean that I don't have my problems and I don't have my own challenges and I don't have my own trials. And what I'm getting to is that in during the meditation, I felt like I'm not giving myself time to actually enjoy, or not rather enjoy, but to really be in the wilderness. You know what I mean? To really take in what God is teaching me. Because most of the time, I find that I keep going back to feel the same way. So I'll have a time where I feel very fired up about the Bible. I feel, like I want to just be doing things in the kingdom. I want to just be doing things for God. But then life hits, and then I have to kind of go back into, oh, Gambe, I have things that I need to do, things I have to accomplish. I have to build a family and all of these things. And it kind of gets confusing to, what am I exactly supposed to do? That's kind of the question I always ask myself, or I'm kind of confused still about. Of course, I want to do kingdom things. I want to do things for God, but at the same time, I'm still in the world and I have to live. So what do I do? You know what I mean? What do? I get a job and focus on the job? But what if I have a job that's against God? And I have to actually ask this question, especially about the guy in Matthew who they give talents to. So it's Matthew, I think it's Matthew 20. Sorry, Matthew 25. It's Matthew 25. It's Matthew 25, specifically where he gives the talents, right? And I've been asking the question. I get what Matthew 25 is about, the talent story of Uti. You have to be okay with what God gives you, and God doesn't give us all the same things. The person who got five, talents, and the person who got two talents, and the person who got one talent, they were each given according to their ability, meaning God knew that this is enough for them to do what they need to do, right? I get all of that. I get what the story is really, like the core thing about the story is. But my thing about it was that this guy, he explains why he went to go dig his talent, right? My husband keeps saying, Wuti, the explanation is based on fear. His reason is based on fear. And the point is that we shouldn't be afraid to take risks and put our trust and faith in God to say that this thing is going to work out. But my thing is still that I've seen a lot of people take risks and do things with that expectation of God will see me through, and now they find themselves in a hole. Instead of having the money in a hole, they find themselves in a hole. So this person's reasoning skills, to me, it makes sense for him to say, oh no, I know you, I've seen you when other people have kind of, lost your money before. They've kind of used the talent, but it didn't work out the way they thought it would. You shouted at them, or so I thought in order for that not to happen to me, for us not to be in bad terms with each other, let me just go dig your talent into the floor so that you can get what you need back, what you gave me. Like, that person's reasoning skills to me kind of makes sense. I mean, he's reasoning in the right direction to say, okay, I saw you with other people and I didn't want to get in trouble. I didn't want to end up in that situation. So I went to go bury my talent. But yes, it is based on the fact that I was afraid that if I lose this thing, that you would then act this way and I would still be in trouble. But now I find myself still in trouble. So, you know what I mean? Like, and now I have to let go of my thoughts, because it kind of also says that, if I reason against, I guess it always comes down to being obedient to God. There's a verse actually in my Bible that says blood is thick. Oh no, obedience is thicker than blood. I actually want to put that on a t-shirt. Obedience is thicker than blood. And I kind of like that. It convicted me to say that really, when God gives you something and says, go do it, it's guaranteed to work, because he's the one, his word has gone ahead of you. And that gives me comfort. But I still kind of go into the space where I'm confused about what I'm supposed to do for the kingdom and what I'm supposed to do in order to survive in the world myself. But I love the Bible so much, because when you're in that state of confusion, the Lord obviously gives you answers always. So in my state of being in the wilderness, my thing was, or at least in the meditation, the conclusion that I came down to is, you've been to the wilderness. You went up a mountain and were in a very kind of mountainous place that has no place. That it's supposed to be not necessarily a wild place, but okay, let's talk about the wilderness. I've been to the Kruger National Park. Mpumalanga, let's just say all of Mpumalanga is the wild, because there's a lot of nature. And I've seen beautiful things in nature. And because I'm a nature person, God will make that reference for me of Guti. When you're walking in the wilderness, learn to admire the things that are beautiful around you. Yes, it is your wilderness. Yes, it's supposed to be the test, or your hard times, or your trial, or whatever. But there are still very much beautiful things around you happening during that time. We rush so much. I saw this interview by this guy who became a millionaire, and he was sharing his story to say, it took him 10 years and a struggle, almost losing everything, to his last $5,000, almost declaring bankruptcy. And in one moment, everything turned around. And it was like that thing of the Lord won't let you sink into the ground. And I've seen it actually with my mom, with her business. When she was about to declare bankruptcy, the Lord opened a door where she was able to start paying bills and surviving again. But again, it wasn't so much money that she could do the surviving and plus more everything. No, it was just enough to say, okay, we're still here, we're still surviving, you can still build, you can still go on. And I keep thinking about, why do we keep progressing so slow? And it's like, there are a lot of things to learn in the space that you're in. And I cannot move you to the next phase if you don't learn what you're supposed to learn here. You know what I mean? And we were talking about it with my husband about, before we got married, we talked about all the things that we want to do when we got married. And now we're married, but we don't necessarily have the finances to fund these things that we wanted to do. And my thing was like, I'm glad that we're actually going through this in the first part of our marriage, because we're learning all the financial skills that we need right now. We're trying to avoid getting into debt, but we also we know that we need to be smart with our money. And I honestly think that it's a lesson that we need to, because if you really think about it, if we did have all the money, we'd probably be blowing it on just traveling and eating out every day and all of these things, probably not being adults and being responsible because we still have children mindsets. But this is giving us an opportunity to actually put our shoes in that adulting mind. Yes, there are still childish things that we want to do, and we will definitely get to do them. But we have made that decision to say, in this phase, we're willing to make sacrifices so that we learn and we get our finances right. So when the time comes for really us to really have fun, we can have fun to the fullest. So there's really, really nothing about being in the wilderness. Learn to appreciate the good things that you see in your bad time. I think that's kind of what the message was. I would say, while I'm molding you, there are a ton of things that you have to learn in order to become or to reach the next phase. And this is kind of, I glad I'm actually in this place, because it means, from what I read from Mark 4, that I'm actually just one step before being in good soil, where I'm embracing the word of the Lord in my heart. So I can just take that of, would say, okay, I'm one step away. I'm one level away from actually being in that state of embrace. And I have realized what I need to do in order to, build that thing up. Especially when I say I want to do more for the kingdom, it actually gives you a thing of what you should do. Give your brother some water. If you see someone who's thirsty, give them some water. If you see someone who's hungry, feed them. If you see someone who helps, like when they say that, it says here in Mark 4, verse 25, giving, I'm going to read the whole thing. It says, listen carefully to what I am saying and be wary of the shrewd advice that tells you how to get ahead in the world on your own. Giving, not getting, is the way. Generosity gives birth to generosity. You need to be a giving person. You need to be generous, not only with your time, but with the things that you have, the little things that you have. So if you want to do something for the kingdom, it's just being kind. I think that's just being kind. And with me living alone in the halls, not actually going outside to people, the only person I have to be kind to is my husband, and it's not that hard. It's not that hard. I mean, I hardly go out. I still don't know anybody here in Lamchechane. If anybody from Chechane watches this video and you want to have a Christian friend, I'm not a big gossip person. If you want to gossip, it's not my thing. I don't want to talk about people around. I do want to talk about the word. I'm filled by that. So if you do live in this area and you want to get in hold of me, just DM me. I'm available. I want to have friends, but I want to have friends who are in, the word of God. So yes. So yes. But thank you so much for watching my video. I hope this also helped you in some way, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye.